To be near someone you had a crush on. Tied my shoe for like 10 minutes to try and get the right seat to sit next to her. In high school I'd arrive in class before her. Pause to sharpen a pencil or something. Take stock of the current seating arrangement, taking into account how much time we had left until class started. And figure out where she'd be most likely to sit. If there was lots of time and I saw a couple of her friends grouped toward the back, I'd go sit with a seat between myself and her friends. If class was about to start and there were a few seats near the door, I'd take one near the door. It was all way more elaborate than it should have been. But I was rarely wrong. That skill has got to come in handy in the real world sometime. Right? Actually, it is pretty useful to be able to foresee how people will act like this. You can use it to network with people and improve your career and whatnot. So, probably pretty handy. I taught myself chemistry so I could teach the girl. She knew I liked her and she went from failing to passing. We never did the lessons in person. I taught her online and she agreed to go on a date with me. The day before the date she cancelled on me and I got fired, and then she kept telling me we would soon. It's been a few years since and she still says maybe another time. I'd say I'm not holding my breath for it. Edit. Additionally joined the track team in high school because the girl I liked decided last minute to join. Went from running 0 miles a day to running for 45 minutes straight. Also learned there is a difference between the distance team and the sprinters. She was a sprinter. I was not, so didn't really see her. Also liked a girl who told me that she was into swing dancing. Went for 3 months of lessons before surprising her. She was impressed and she's now been dating my brother the past year. At least every time you try to get a girl you better yourself in the process. You went from being a generic dude to being a swing dancing chemistry buff who can run for an hour. Now you can get any girl. It's actually been pretty helpful. Girls seem to like guys who swing dance, so I've gotten dates out of it. And they've all impacted my life significantly. Because of teaching myself chemistry to teach the girl, I discovered that I actually enjoy teaching, so I became an instructor at the college level and have become the chair of the IT program at the young age of 27. And swing dancing is a hobby that's gotten me out of the house at least once a week when I used to always just stay home and be mopey. Changed my entire wardrobe and took summer school, electively. Damn. How did that work out? Got one date with her. And took her to junior prom. She got back with her ex the next day after prom. Pined over her for years. Ended up living with her. And my roomie tapped it for 2 years. Finally stopped pining when I heard her getting ducked by a friend 15 feet away. Sorry to not deliver. Comma. Had a secret relationship. I was young. Foolish. And it was the only way he would date me. We were both pretty shy and had never had boyfriends, girlfriends before. We passed notes. Had little secret meetings and everything. Looking back, it was adorably stupid. That's so cute actually. Then you find out they were 34. In junior high, my friend and I called every Anderson in the phone book until we found out which number belonged to this hot older guy at our school. Even though it was a smallish town. This was quite a feat and took an entire afternoon. We used to prank call him occasionally after that. We were so cool at the time. Talking to this hot, popular guy on the phone. I die of embarrassment just thinking about it now. That's my last name, and I received prank calls from junior high girls a few years ago. Also, I live in a smallish town. Are you hot? When I was 15, I performed in a school play that required wearing tights because this girl I liked was in the cast. She didn't give me the time of day and I was so embarrassed I swore I'd never sacrifice my dignity for anyone ever again. 10 years later, I found out that she joined the cast because someone lied and told her I had already joined. She was literally doing the same thing I was. And was just as horrified at the outcome. The 1st of August was our 3rd anniversary. Edit. Whoa. Wake up to find your inbox explode. I'll try to reply to everyone real quick. But I'm supposed to be backpacking right now. So it'll have to be quick. Thanks. Adorable awkward kids. Unite. 5 AM and I've just now read a happy ending. Congratulations and good night. I once followed my crush into a metro train. Spent the next 2 hours sitting in the same coach as him. Exchanging no words and maybe a smile or two, we were both in the same school. Different classes. Did not know each other beyond that. Rode till the last stop, the stop for our school, where he got off. Kept sitting in the train till it started its return journey. Spending 2 more hours, alone this time, getting back home. By the way, before following him in, I had just got off the same train. Coming home from school. TLDR. Spent 4 hours on a train for him. Never spoke to him. What if he was waiting for you to get off the train? I never even. Last semester at college my crush and I would cross paths on campus going to our 2 p.m. classes. I would be walking north and he would be walking south on the same sidewalk but going to different buildings. I would always try to time it right, walking slower/fast direct, so I could see him and get in a quick conversation. It worked about 70% of the time. When I was younger I had a terrible crush on this guy who was on the ski team with me. I remember once sitting in a seat across from him on the bus on the way back from a race late at night. We were both lying down and had our feet propped on the pile of skis between us. And I was very convinced that our feet were touching. We were both wearing snow boots but my foot even got all warm and I was fantasizing about him asking me out or maybe carrying me out of the woods after some sort of skiing injury or something terribly naive and misguided like that. Then I looked up and realized that my foot was actually touching someone's backpack. The boy in question was, in fact, in the midst of a heavy maquillette session with another girl. I had totally forgotten about this until I saw this post. The only thing that makes me feel better is he actually did eventually ask me out. We dated for a while. And I dumped him. Well, good for you. Backpacks make terrible partners anyway. Everyone seems to beat mine. But well, I convinced a teacher to give us a huge partner project. And bribed her with candies to partner the boy I liked and meet together. Turned out he was an idiot and I had to do all of the work. Never once getting alone time. I like your teacher's style. If I was a teacher I'd make it known that I accept candy bribes. I'd get so many sweets. Kind of like a reverse pedophile. I introduced a guy that I liked to my best friend. In hopes that they'd date for a few weeks. She'd break up with him like she usually did to guys. And in the meantime he would have realized how awesome I was. They dated for over 2 years. And as far as I know he's still mooning over her. Today I learned that mooning over means love struck. I originally read your post and thought that the guy has been showing his bare ass for 2 years. I actually had to Google the phrase. I figured that's why she broke up with guys. They didn't expose their butts to her on a consistent basis. In high school me and my friend snuck into our mutual guy crush backyard in the hopes that we could see him in his window. Stalkers I know. Anyways the back door opened so we hide in the bushes. His whole family, extended family, proceeds to come out the back door into the backyard to have a family reunion. I think we sat in the bushes for 2 hours and then a small child found us and exposed us to everyone. School was awkward the next day. But hahaha, that's something you'd see in a sitcom. Especially because the back gate was jammed shut, so after being discovered the mom had to take us through the house to get out the front to the street. I held my breath the whole time. Not sure if this counts. But when I was in middle school my bus route would pass by my crush's street, so I would make sure to always sit on the side of the bus closest to his street. I would get really defensive about giving up my seat. 2. Not that it ever did me any good. I never saw him. Wow, I feel very boring all of a sudden. Oh god. I did stuff like this all the time. I need to plan out my class route so that I pass by him and between 3rd and 4th period. Obviously if he sees me he'll instantly fall in love. Back in high school, I'd take specific routes that I knew coincided with his schedule to get to my destination. I'd also walk through hallways I'd just passed seconds before if I catch him sitting in a classroom or something along the way. Which doesn't really accomplish anything now that I think about it. Oh. And I'd also begin to make large and sudden movements in front of my group of friends if I see him in my peripheral vision. I don't even know, man. I did the exact same thing, except the only thing I knew was his grade and that his class went to the bathrooms a little after I left to go to science, thus making me late to science all the time. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his friends. I didn't know anything. But goddamn it, I found out his entire schedule. His name, which led me to realize I was already good friends with his older brother. His old address. His entire large ass family's names plus his cats. And that he was moving to my street. Which he did. Now that I talk to him, I know a lot more unnecessary things. His favorite colors are black and white. His favorite food is spaghetti. He has completed every challenge in Skyrim and he is a KGite. His birthday is the 26th of November. etc. And I just feel intensely more creepy. Though logically the fact that we're friends now takes away from the creepiness of me being a vague acquaintance he waved to in the halls. I guess it's the fact that he says these things nonchalantly with the inherent trust I'm not going to do creepy things with them. When in fact I'm storing just about each and everything in my memory. Your dedication is amazing. Also, I love that you know his cats' names. That's of crucial importance. I gave up shotgun, front passenger seat, to sit in between two guys I had huge crushes on. My brother was driving and he has a seniority rule. Meaning whoever is youngest gets picked on with no penalties. I was the youngest. I spent most of the ride being berated with insults by everyone. Mostly my two crushes. And went straight to my room crying when I got home. One of them apologized though, but the other hates me for reasons unknown. Ok. I took violin lessons from his mother and joined youth symphony on flute. Really? I came out a better person for it. Too bad I still sometimes catch myself thinking about banging him. 7 years of unconsummated lust is hard to just slough off. Or schlick off. Whatever. You better duck the out of him. Please. Started an argument with her so we could be face to face. My wife and I met when we were driving for a sedan company. I would sometimes drive out of my way to be on the same side of town as her so we could hang out together while we waited for fares. It worked. We've been together 16 years. I went to school with a guy that I was so infatuated with. He loved wrestling. He would watch it every Wednesday. I think that is what night it was on. I called his house one time looking for his sister and he said, "Samantha 9? Is that you?" I said yeah and he said that I called during his wrestling show and I said, "Oh, I love wrestling. I am watching it too." From that moment forward he thought I loved wrestling and he would call me every Wednesday and we would watch it together. I learned every character and their little things they did. I even had a favorite wrestler. I only did this because I loved talking to him. In reality I would rather shoot myself in the leg than ever watch wrestling ever again. I was a dumb duck. I used to have a crush on this girl from church and my friends thought it would be a good idea to dress up like trick-or-treaters. It was Halloween. And go to her house in costumes so they could help me ask her out or something. I was insanely shy but somehow I agreed to go. I wore my Spider-Man costume and when my friends picked me up, I realized none of them are wearing any costumes and were like, "Oh yeah, we're just going to wear normal clothes and forgot to tell you." Obviously I try to get out of it but they end up driving to her house and get me to go up to her door with them. Saying she won't know who I am with my Spider-Man mask. When she answers the door, she's having a Halloween slumber party with a bunch of girls and they all want to know who I am. One of my friends pulls off my mask and confesses my love to her. Turns out, she's not interested at all. Edit. I typed everything out kind of quickly because I was hiding my Reddit window at work. But to be perfectly honest, my friends are the greatest human beings I have ever known and we're still close to this day. All of us were a-holes and we were at our worst towards each other in high school. Sexual frustration lol. But all dongery aside, we've become closer than brothers because of everything we've been through, this fiasco included. Your friends are tools. And if it worked out, best friends ever, right? I think it was a great idea. They go together with him. Put him in a Spider-Man costume because of a valid reason since the girls were having a Halloween slumber party. Try to hook him up. Unfortunately it failed, but what if it worked out? They might have even invited him and because he was in costume. Lots of unpaid overtime to be near my boss. Who is the definition of unattainable? Went to an anime club where I was hit on, stalked, and groped by people whose codes of personal hygiene left much to be desired. Also, furries. Edit to clarify, I'm a straight Asian girl. And I was actually into anime, still am. Most of the people who actually dared to grope me were also girls. The guys were mostly just unintentionally creepy as a side effect of social awkwardness. But I know how that goes, so I'm not exactly blaming them. If you're a half attractive girl and you go to anime furry events, you're gonna have a bad time. Probably. Bleh. Half the reason I never got involved with those clubs and groups even though I was into anime while I was in school. A lot of the male fans unfortunately completely fulfill every negative stereotype you can think of. And of course, the gender ratio in the fandom doesn't tend to help things. 10 guys for every 2 girls or so. Oh god, the drama. Am I a horrible person for wanting to point out that common practice is to simplify the ratios into their lowest numbers? I believe I am. I apologize world. 10 to 2 is the same as 5 to 1. Bad but doesn't sound as bad. I flew across the country to surprise her for Valentine's Day. I hate to be that guy. But how did that work out? Somebody has to be that guy for all of us. Okay, here's a fun one. When I was a freshman in college, I was planning to head up to a friend in another college a few hours away to visit for a day. Let's call him Steve for this story. Then I found out there was going to be a dorm party at my school that same Saturday and that my crush would be there. Let's call her Mary. I was pretty socially awkward and didn't get invited to many of these affairs. So I decided I would cancel my trip and go to the party so I could be near her. Then the day before the party, my cancelled trip, Mary goes, "Hey, I heard you're going out of town tomorrow. Can I hitch a ride? I want to go visit a friend up at the same school." Now suddenly I need to scramble to uncancel with Steve at this other school. Problem is, I can't get a hold of him. Cell phones were just starting to become mandatory. Steve didn't have one yet. Okay. So now I'm driving my crush to another school where I claim I've planned to meet a friend who I've actually cancelled on. When I get up there, I still can't get a hold of Steve. So my crush and her friend, who we should just call John, invite me to hang out. I never get in contact with Steve, despite calling frantically several times throughout the night. Why did I want to leave Mary and John? Because the friend she was visiting was actually some dude she was trying to bang. So in the end, with nowhere else to go, I was planning to sleep in my car and just lie about it, so that I could get the hell out of this increasingly awkward situation. But failed. They invited me to stay on the couch, where I stupidly spent the night, clearly able to hear them having sex. In the end, I learned many valuable life lessons that weekend. Also too, I probably didn't learn some that I should have. But whatever. It was a while ago now. The irony. If you had told her that you cancelled your trip, she might not have had a ride to meet her dude. Would have gone to the party with you. And y'all would have ended up banging. Best case scenario. I cringed. I'm taking archery classes to go to Olympics and meet Cesar Cielo at the Olympic Village. Ick now. I heard Olympians have fun there. JK. I'm actually taking them to meet Legolas. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. And my ex. Did I do that wrong? I'll go. I started playing the cello when I was 8. That year, I got a new cello instructor. X. He was tall, tan, suave, and he had the scent of men's cologne. I was smitten and practiced hard in my free time just to impress X. By the time I figured out he was gay, I was good enough at the cello that I just kept playing. In high school, I played cello in the high school orchestra. First chair cellist was Jay, who was quiet and mysterious. I battled it out with the other beaches, ensuring I sat second chair and therefore next to Jay. I'm 28 and I haven't picked up my cello in years. Goddamn. There was so much angst and unrequited love attached to that thing. It was 11th grade, and this beautifully alien looking boy named Hank was in one of my classes. He actually looked like Spock, with eyebrows pointing up towards his scalp. I think I was mostly attracted to his muscles and his simple, Masculine name. Being in 11th grade and never having done anything remotely athletic throughout the course of my high school career, I decided to join the track team. Hank just happened to be on the team and was rather obsessed with hurdles. So obsessed, in fact, that the only thing he would talk about when I nervously engaged in conversation with him was his love for hurdles. So interesting. I did not care. For his absent Vulcan facade made me horny. Joining the track team sure got me a lot of time with Hank. Viewing him from afar was enough. Since he was so dim-witted, I didn't actually want to date him. That would have been embarrassing because everyone knew how Hank was not the sharpest tool in the haystack. Whatever. Also, the fact that he was younger than me didn't help. My friends would never have let it go. I am possibly the least athletic person I have ever met in my life. Joining the track team was like a snail trying to join a pack of cheetahs. A snail whose ankles swell up from the simple act of lightly jogging. And choosing hurdles was like a snail trying to join a pack of hurdling cheetahs. Not good. Hank looked on, jaw slack with his usual dimness. Everyone said my arm was not broken. But I knew better. I had to have a neighbor take me to the doctor to get an x-ray. It was broken. All because of my infatuation with a hurdler named Hank. I claimed I was gay so I could hang out with her and her female friends. Got invited to her birthday sleepover. It lasted for about a month. And then I told her about it and she thought it was hilarious. We started dating 2 weeks ago and it's been fabulous. Also, my dad thinks I'm a genius. Edit. I have not seen the movie Kick-Ass. Fabulous. I see what you did there. Kick-Ass? Joined a LGBT group at school just to find out she was a lesbian. Yeah. Mine's kinda similar. I'm a girl. And I went to the LGBT club at my school just to be with the guy I liked. And I already knew he was gay. It was kinda funny later when the group was thinking we should tell prospective students visiting the club why we started being part of it in order to get them to join. My reason was probably not the best. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.